Hey YouTube, Mr. Terry back here again for another History Teacher Reacts video. Today I'm going to be watching Simple History's video, Rasputin, the Man Who Wouldn't Die. I'm excited to see this because I know a little about the Rasputin death story, and it is very odd, for sure. So what I'm really hoping to get out of this is maybe to learn a few new things. But if you have not heard kind of this story, I think you will really enjoy this, because it is very kind of mysterious. I mean, just from the title, The Man Who Wouldn't Die. If you know anything about Rasputin, he was basically seen as like a holy man that many thought had some kind of almost supernatural abilities, and his death story almost fits that in a way from what I've learned about it. So I'm excited to look to look into it. There'll be a link to the original video down below. If you enjoyed it, make sure you head over there, give them a like and subscribe, give them the support that they deserve. If you have not subscribed to this channel, like the idea of a history teacher watching history videos, go ahead and make sure you subscribe too. You can also subscribe because I also produce original lessons, geared towards AP World History, and whether you're a student or not, I think you'll enjoy it. All right. Okay. With that, I think we'll go ahead and get started. So, Rasputin, the Man Who Wouldn't Die.
This episode is sponsored by Wix. Go to wix.com/go/simplehistory to create a website today. Rasputin, the Man Who Wouldn't Die. December 30th, 1916. Grigory Efimovich Rasputin was born on January 21st, 1869 in Siberia, Russia, to a peasant family, and led a simple life until he reached the age of 28.
Just from this, I'll go back. Rasputin was known to have these very, like these are kind of scary looking eyes, but these eyes that like drew you in. He was very charismatic and almost had a facial feature in a way that lended to that. So they emphasize that there, but that's actually what he was known for.
Siberia, Russia, to a peasant family, and led a simple life until he reached the age of 28, when it's alleged that he had a religious awakening during a pilgrimage, and after that became a wandering, self-proclaimed holy man. Throughout Rasputin's life, there were constant rumors of him being involved in debauchery, drunkenness, womanizing, strange occult rituals, and belonging to a mysterious cult. But despite all this, by 1906, Rasputin was a popular high society figure in St. Petersburg and had become friends with Tsar Nicholas II and his family. By now, he had become known simply as Rasputin, and the Tsar's wife, Queen Alexandra, increasingly saw him as a prophet and a visionary who could heal her hemophiliac son, Alexei.
They had tried to keep this secret, the family, about their son's blood condition, and hemophilia is your blood doesn't really clot, and nobody was no doctors or everybody or people that they had, they weren't able to help him, so they reached out, or it was kind of reached out with this guy Rasputin, who was supposed to potentially have these like miraculous powers in a way. So he was working very close to the family. That's how he got in with them. And there was actually progress with the young boy. Now, what a lot of people say, maybe it wasn't some mysterious healing, but he had a way of calming the boy, which had help, and also calming like the mother, and her more calm and nature might have also helped him. So that's what a lot of people say. Maybe the actual effect he had was.
And a visionary who could heal her hemophiliac son, Alexei. Over the next 10 years, Rasputin's influence over the royal family and their political decisions grew and grew. This caused much resentment amongst the Russian people and politicians. There were attempts to curtail his power, and there was even an assassination attempt. For on July 12, 1914, a 33-year-old deeply religious peasant woman called Chonya Guseva stabbed Rasputin in the stomach while he was visiting his home village of Pokrovskoy. Rasputin was seriously wounded and nearly died. Guseva claimed that Rasputin was a false prophet and the Antichrist.
Yeah.
She was later judged insane and sent to a mental asylum for her crime.
He was a very polarizing figure because he was involved in all these probably immoral acts, That he was involved with a lot of these activities, sexual activities, and things like that. And it offended a lot of people, especially when they kind of see that he has a lot of influence. And some people like that lady probably thought he was basically like demonic in a way. So it was a very polarizing figure. Some kind of embraced him and were captivated by him, and then some were on the complete opposite, for sure. But I didn't actually know about this first sort of assassination attempt. This is interesting. So it's like he's already almost cheating death once in a way by surviving a stabbing. But there's more to come for him.
She was later judged insane and sent to a mental asylum for her crime. World War I was going badly for Russia due to poor leadership and logistical problems. By December 1916, its armed forces were on the brink of collapse. During this time, both Rasputin and the royal family had become incredibly unpopular. Many feared that Rasputin's influence over the royal family was seriously affecting the war effort.
Yep.
So a group of nobles and politicians plotted to kill him. This was led by Prince Felix Yusupov and his young friend Grand Duke Dmitry Pavlovich. On the night of December 29, 1916, the two of them invited Rasputin to a small party at the Moika Royal Palace. What happened next is open to debate, as much of it has become hearsay, sensationalism, half-truths, and urban legend.
For sure. I do hope... I want to hear sources of his story, because there's so many intricate details that have been out there. I'm interested to know sources. If they don't really show them here, and some, be sure to share, for sure.
As Rasputin was always become hearsay, sensationalism, half-truths, and urban legend, as Rasputin was always seen by the public as a mysterious figure, and his death soon became a tale of his mystic, almost superhuman powers. The popular account about his death is that waiting for him at the palace were Prince Felix Yusupov and Grand Duke Dmitry Pavlovich, while upstairs were several co-conspirators, including the renowned opposition politician Vladimir Purishkevich. Once at the palace, Prince Yusupov offered Rasputin tea and cakes that had been laced with enough cyanide to kill 3 or 4 men. But this seemed to have no effect on him, so the prince gave him some Madeira wine.
They're like, what's going on?
But again, this seemed to have no effect on him, even after drinking 3 glasses, apart from getting him a little more drunk. Then, Prince Yusupov went to get a revolver and came back and shot Rasputin in the chest.
Fail-proof. Just shoot the guy.
Rasputin promptly collapsed on the floor and seemed to be dead. Prince Yusupov then left the palace with the other co-conspirators, one of whom was wearing Rasputin's hat and coat, in the hope that it would give the impression that Rasputin had left the palace to return home.
So I wanted to cover up, I guess. All right, so the dude, they laced the treats or whatever, and the wine with enough poison to kill multiple men. Just powers through it, right? And he was probably a heavy drinker, anyways, right? He'd probably quite a tolerance for that, but the poison, that's rough. So, all right, foolproof. Just come up, shoot him in the chest with a revolver, right? And now it looks like he's out. Mission accomplished, right?
A short while later, the princes returned to the palace, and much to his surprise, the supposedly dead Rasputin leapt up and attacked them. Then Rasputin staggered into the palace courtyard, where it is said he was shot 2 more times. It is then claimed that Rasputin was beaten by Prince Yusupov with a dumbbell, and in the early hours of the morning of December 30th, 1916, was carried to a nearby bridge and thrown into the freezing Malaya Nevka River below. It is said that Rasputin was last seen very much alive, thrashing about in the freezing cold water as he...
Okay, let's keep track. Poisoned with tons of poison. Shot unconscious. Regains consciousness. Starts trying to beat up people. They shoot him again twice, and then beat him, right, with weights. I don't know. I had heard that they had beat him. I didn't know what it was with. I thought it was like a club or something, but weights or something. Throw him in this freezing cold river in Russia, and he's still apparently conscious and flailing around.
It is said that Rasputin was last seen very much alive, thrashing about in the freezing cold water as he floated downriver, clinging to a lump of ice. 2 days later, on January 1st, 1917, Rasputin's dead body was found under the ice-covered river, approximately 650 feet downstream from the bridge. Some of the details of his murder may have been untrue or exaggerated.
For sure.
But what we do know for certain comes from the official autopsy carried out on Rasputin's body.
So so what they're going to say is definitely got to be the most legitimate of things, because it's a medical autopsy. A lot of hearsay before that, but now at least you have like official documentation of some kind. So I think what they're about to tell us is I mean, it's either going to validate the story or not. But yeah, let's see what they say.
We know that Rasputin had been shot 3 times, and one of those shots was in the forehead at very close range, and was the cause of his death. That the coroner could find no trace of any poison anywhere in his body. He also concluded that Rasputin was most likely dead when his body was dropped into the river. There were also deep cuts and bruising on his body, but they were not believed to be from a beating as commonly claimed, but to have been done post-mortem when Rasputin's body was dumped into the river through a fishing hole that had been carved into the iced-over river. Prince Felix Yusupov and Grand Duke Dmitry Pavlovich's role in Rasputin's murder was quickly discovered. Queen Alexandra was so angered by the murder that she wanted both of them shot straight away by firing squad without trial. But instead, Prince Yusupov was exiled to his country estate, and Archduke Pavlovich was sent to serve in a Russian army garrison in Persia. As for Rasputin, he was buried on January 2nd, 1917, the day after his body was discovered, at a small local church in a ceremony attended by the royal family and a few close friends. Shortly afterwards, the Russian Revolution occurred. Tsar Nicholas II was forced to abdicate, bringing an end to the Russian Empire.
Yep.
This Simple History episode was brought to you by Wix. Don't let website building be a mystery. Use Wix, the website builder that gives you complete creative freedom for your project or business.
Ad support.
Go to wix.com/go/simplehistory to create a professional site regardless of your skill level. Wix has all the features you need, such as Wix Videos, Wix Pro Gallery, Wix Bookings, and templates for all kinds of sites such as e-commerce, music, hotels, events, restaurants, and more. Build your own site and support the channel by going to wix.com/go/simplehistory, or simply click the link in the description below.
Okay.
If you manage a team, you have to try money.
Okay. All right then. So the one other thing to add to the story that I had heard before came from the coroner's story, and I thought I had heard that they said the gunshot to the head should be the it was the cause of death. But then you corroborate that too with if the troops are right about he was still like moving around. I had also heard that the autopsy report said the official cause of death that they determined was actually drowning, which when I had seen that, I have seen that in writing before. But whether what I heard or they heard is true, whatever, it depends on really where the original sources actually come from. You can actually see the report. But, if the drowning story is like part of it, it does look like it was like a drowning thing, then that makes all the other previous things even more impressive, that if he actually survived those, right? Tons of poisoning. They said that, however, this said the autopsy report said there was no poison in his system. You'd think they'd be able to maybe do that, but so you have that, and then the shot in the chest. He's out. They take him out or whatever. He springs back to life a little bit later, and then they fight him off again. They beat him, with some heavy weight, and then shoot him twice more or whatever in the chest, and then one in the head, and then now he's apparently gone. They throw him in the river, and then I heard that it was drowning. So I might be totally wrong there, but that was something I had heard before. But regardless of that, even the stuff before them shooting him in the head at the last minute there, it's still like crazy impressive if all those things are true. Which I'm sure if the folklore continued on or whatever about him, just made him more of a figure, because it's like, man, this guy was like truly somebody different. You know what I mean? Like, this is maybe the whatever powers and stuff that he has, or whatever connection he has to God, or whatever they believed is validated. But regardless, it's such a fascinating story to see that. I'll definitely look more into Rasputin for sure. There's a bunch of other sources that come out. Seems to getting popular again, especially kind of his earlier life. Some of the stuff I had seen was on that kind of new series Netflix has done, The Last Tsar, which does a ton of stuff on Rasputin. So I'm interested to know. If you're interested to know, I thought that was kind of good, and just to see that, and if you already know a lot about his history, maybe be able to compare that. And if you have any info on that, if you've seen that show and you want to include that, be sure to leave comments and stuff like that. So anyway, what a fascinating figure as far as the death goes, and just his life. Look into him for sure. But all right. Okay, awesome. Well, just to shout out a few other things. If you like that original video, a link to the original video will be down below. You can go and see more of the Simple History stuff. This was the second video, I believe, I've seen of them, and it's very interesting stuff. They have very kind of different things, which has been kind of cool to look at. A few ways to support the channel here. If you'd like to get involved in some history discussions, we have a pretty active Discord server. There'll be a link to join that down below. Some other ways you can support the channel. There is a Patreon. There will be a link below. All patron pledgers too get the ability to vote in a weekly poll for video suggestions that I will check out about once a week or so. So that's one way you can support regardless of tier level. Other ways to support, there's donations through Streamlabs. You will see that in the description below. During live premieres, super chat donations are great as we try to do as many live premieres as we can so we can kind of talk through the videos together. All the support is definitely appreciated, but of course never required. All right, with that, I thank you again for joining me. I hope to see you again soon, and we'll see you later. Bye.